Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to your final class. Woo woo, feel like we all need like a little mini dance party to celebrate. You guys have done so great. I am so proud of you. If you've made it this far, if you're watching this, then you've done well and I am proud of you. So let's go ahead and dive right in. We've got a lot to cover. We're gonna get moving pretty quickly. And yeah, just a reminder, do what you can do. Don't worry about the rest, all right? Let's start with alternate nostril breathing, that pranayama that we learned last week. Get your mudra, right, your hand posture ready, whether you can do with the ring finger up or if it wants to be weird, then you just take it down and you've got the cowabunga, right, mudra going on. All right, so take your thumb to your right nostril, take a full breath in. Switch sides, slowly exhale. Stay here as you breathe in. Switch sides and exhale. Stay here, inhale. Switch sides and exhale. Stay here, inhale. Switch sides, slowly exhale. And then taking a few breaths at your own pace. The next time you exhale through the right, go ahead and release your hands down to your legs. I love how that pranayama kind of forces you to get focused. Really allows you to get just a little bit more present. Okay, so keeping that presence with you, that focus as you take your attention to the back of your throat. Constricting there, picking up your ujjayi breath, that ocean sounding breath. Right, actively taking your belly button back to your spine on the exhale, making sure you get all of that stale air out. And start to drop your right ear over to your right shoulder. And dropping your chin down to your chest, and then slowly taking your left ear over to the left shoulder. So starting to work the neck out here, drop the chin down, make your way over to the right. And slowly dropping your chin, left ear to left shoulder. And then dropping the chin back down, make your way back over to the right. And then last time, drop the chin over to the left. And then dropping your chin back down to your chest, bring your hands to your heart center, setting your intention for your practice today. And letting that intention to be, you are more. Right? We are always stronger, right? More brave than we think we are. You can insert whatever adjective you want. Make sure it's a positive one, though. Right? But we don't give ourselves enough credit, and our mind is the first thing to want to give up on us before our body actually does. So just let that be your intention. You are more. You are more strong than you think you are. You can always go a little further than you think you can. You can always hang in there a little longer than you think you can. So setting that as your intention, and with every inhale, allow that truth to really grow, to resonate within your body, to get into every bone, every muscle, every tension, every crevice, deep within your heart. With every exhale, sending that intention out, because you are not the only one who struggles with feeling like you're not good enough, like you're not strong enough, you're not brave enough. Okay, so send that out to your sisters, to your children, to the community that you are in, to the people next to you right now. And gently open your eyes. Go ahead and release your hands. If you're on a block, go ahead and remove it. Then bring the bottoms of your feet together. Get nice and grounded into your sitting bones. Remember, you kind of rock from side to side if you'd like. And then inhale, sit nice and tall. As you exhale, hinge at the hips, reach forward and fold. Remember, you can keep a nice flat back here. That's going to keep you in the outer hips. Right? You can allow that stretch to stay like it is, or if you need something a little bit more restorative, and if you want to find a little bit more space in the spine, you can allow your shoulders to be heavy, the head to fall. But remember, if you ever feel any pinching or anything going on in the low back, you want to lift the head back up some. And then slowly lift the chest back up. Keep your right foot in, straighten your left leg out for seated tree. Inhale, sweep your arms out, reach. Exhale, hinge at the hips, reach forward, and then fold. Right, so you'll notice as I go throughout today's class that I won't be giving as many alignment cues. I won't be talking as much. Some of you are probably like, thank God. But if you ever get or forget the cues or anything like that, always go back, watch these videos over and over again, practice them, do them, so until it's, just kind of ingrained in your mind and you know exactly what to do and where to go and where to push and where to pull and all of the postures. And then inhale, lift your chest. We're going to switch sides. Bring the left foot in, right leg extends out. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, reach forward, and then fold. Make sure that foot stays forward, the legs forward. And lengthening with every inhale, sinking a little deeper with every exhale. And then lifting the chest, make your way out to hands and knees. We're going to take a few rounds of cat-cow. Inhale, drop the belly down, gaze and tailbone up. And exhale, curl through the spine, press into your hands, chin to chest. And take a few rounds here, starting to connect your breath with your movement. And then coming back out to a neutral spine, extend your right foot back, left hand forward. And exhale, gently release, switching sides, left foot back, right arm forward. Really pressing through the back heel, reaching through the right fingertips. You start to feel you're dumping into the low back, press into the left hand, take your belly button back to your spine. And then gently release. Make your way out onto your belly. Take your arms back behind you. On an inhale, lift your chest and your feet, coming into locust. Creating length before strength. So reaching the sternum forward, toes reach back, and then press the pelvis down, lifting up into the space you've created. And then gently release. Take your hands back behind the shoulders towards the upper ribs. We're going to move into cobra. So this is another kind of baby back bend. So you're going to press into your hands, start to lift the chest up any amount. You can lift it up not very far at all, to where maybe you can pick the hands up, right? And the hands are kind of light. Or you can press all the way up, keep the shoulders down and back, and the thighs stay down on the ground. So even though you were up higher, right, the thighs stay down, and that kind of differentiates cobra from upward facing dog. And then gently release, coming back down. We're going to do that again. Inhale, start to lift the chest, press into your hands, coming into any variation of cobra that you like. Elbows stay in by the sides. Take a full breath in. Exhale, gently release, coming back through hands and knees. Take your knees out, mat width apart, big toes together. Sink your hips back towards your heels. Remember, if you've got any knee issues, you can always keep the knees tucked up underneath you. And walking your hands over to the right, creating some space in the side body. You can keep the forehead down, or if it lifts up off the mat, it's all good. But really reaching through the left fingertips. And then coming back through center over to the left, shifting your hips just a little to the right. Nice deep breaths into the side ribs. And then coming back to center, make your way back up to hands and knees. Tuck your toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. As you lift the hips, press into your hands. Think about reaching your belly to your thighs or your chest to your toes. And then lengthening out through the legs as the heels make their way down towards the mat. Again, they don't have to touch, but they are moving in that direction. And then once you get here, you can take any movements you feel your body needs. You can pedal the heels, right? Bending one knee and then pressing the opposite heel down to the mat. You can come up onto your tippy toes. You could put a really big bend in the knees. Right, again, just kind of exploring the space. See what feels good, see what doesn't. And then keeping your feet just like they are. Start to walk your hands back towards your feet. Coming into ragdoll, grab a hold of opposite elbows. Let gravity pull you a little closer to your mat. Bend the knees if there's a big gap between your ribs and your thighs. Shake your head yes. Shake your head no. And making your way back to stillness. Letting gravity do its job, pulling your upper body closer to the floor. And then release your fingertips down to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Reach the heart forward. As you exhale, lower the chest back down to your thighs, but interlace your fingers behind your back, opening up the shoulders. Squeeze the palms together. Allow your arms to be heavy and fall down towards the mat. And then release your bind. Inhale, halfway lift again. Reach the heart forward. As you exhale, we're going to walk the hands out into plank pose. All right, if you felt your chaturangas could have been better last week, throughout or in between your classes, work on holding a plank. You could even Google plank challenge, and it allows you to hold it just a few seconds a day, and you keep adding on. Right, just build strength in the upper body. Engage the quads, tailbone lengthens down towards the heels. And for this first one, this first chaturanga, drop the knees, exhale, shift forward, bend the elbows, hug them in towards the sides, lower the body as one unit, and then press into your hands. Lift your chest, upward facing dog, shoulders down and back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take your gaze in between your hands, walk or step your feet up, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Ground down into your feet, come all the way up, extended mountain. And exhale, hands to heart center. Close the eyes, take your thumbs to your sternum, take a few deep breaths. Noticing how you're balancing on 2 feet. And feel the strength in your legs, the power as you ground down, and then the lifting of the upper body, creating space in the spine. And then gently open your eyes. Drop the hands down by your sides. Inhale, sweep your arms up, extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold.
Halfway lift.
Chaturanga. Palm your mat, step back into plank and lower. Lift your chest, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. You can roll over the toes. Make sure you're lifting through the front of the body if you're not going to come through hands and knees. And keeping the core strong. Gaze in between your hands. Walk or step your feet up and halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Come all the way up, extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold. We are diving right in. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. Remember to step back with the opposite foot. Shift forward, bend the elbows and lower. Lift your chest, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to do 2 more, just like that. Gaze forward, top of your mat, halfway lift. Walk, step, crawl, I don't care how you get there, get there. Reach the chest forward. Exhale, forward fold. Root to rise, all the way up, extended mountain. Full breath in. Exhale, forward fold, full breath out.
Halfway lift.
Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog.
Take a full breath in and a full breath out.
Gaze in between your hands. Come to the top of your mat. Halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold.
1 more. Full breath in. Extended mountain.
We're going to go right back down. Forward fold.
Halfway lift.
Chaturanga. Lift your chest. Up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog.
Full breath in. Side out.
Gaze in between your hands, top of your mat, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold.
Come all the way up, extended mountain.
Hands to heart center, close the eyes, tune into your breath. Remember to drop your chin to your chest if you ever get dizzy. And then release your hands down. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, forward fold.
Halfway lift.
Step your right foot back. And then drop your knee. All right, so I think this was 2 sessions ago where we came into this low lunge. Options, fingertips can stay on the mat, but reach the chest forward, tailbone down towards the mat. So we're focusing on the hip flexor, front of your right hip. You can stay here, hands to your thigh. All right, I want you to think about reaching the right hip towards the inner left knee. All right, whether your hands are down on your thigh or the arms reach up. You could play around with a little back bend here. You can always bend the elbows, right? Squeeze the shoulder blades in. If you've got some flexibility in the front of the body, maybe the fingertips reach down. Again, just an option. Nice deep breaths. And then taking your right hand down to the mat or to a block. And then extend your left arm up for a twist. Working on getting your gaze to your thumb. Hugging the legs in towards the midline. Right hip forward, left hip back. Take 1 more full breath in. Exhale, release the left hand down. Curl the back toes. We're going to step up for a forward fold.
Inhale all the way up, extended mountain.
And exhale, forward fold.
Halfway lift.
Step your left foot back. Drop the knee, coming into the same variation that you were in on the other side. And then left hand down, right arm reaches up. And release the right hand down, tuck the back toes, step it up to meet your right foot, and forward fold. Come all the way up, extended mountain. Exhale, hands to heart center. All right, guys, so we're gonna move into Sun Salutation B, Surya Namaskar B. Last week we learned A, today we're gonna learn B, and it starts with chair, and it adds in warrior one, right? All of these poses we already know, we're just gonna put them together a little differently. All right, so coming to the top of your mat, we begin with chair. So bend the knees, reach your arms up, Utkatasana. Take a full breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Palm your mat, step back into plank, lower down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So we're going to move into warrior one from here. And we're going to start with stepping the feet together. Let's do that. Step the feet together so the big toes are touching in the middle of your mat. And then on an inhale, extend your right heel up towards the sky. It can just be reaching straight back towards the mat. It could lift all the way up towards the ceiling. But extending your leg back, and then as you exhale, you're gonna bring your foot in between your hands, but I want you to think knee to forehead. So you gotta really press into your hands, pull the knee in and up, so you create lots of space for the foot to step down. All right, step back into down dog. If that's not happening today, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna inhale the heel up. Exhale, step the foot forward. I want you to keep thinking knee to forehead, press into the hands. But if the foot comes up maybe halfway, that's okay. I want you to grab the foot with your right hand and pull it up, right? Spin your back heel down. Now you've got heel to heel alignment. And then inhale, rise up, warrior one. Knee stacks over the ankle. With every inhale, creating space in the spine. With every exhale, maybe sinking a little deeper. On your next exhale, you're going to place your hands down to the mat, frame your foot, and then slide the right foot back into plank. Exhale, shift forward, bend the elbows, lower chaturanga. Press into your hands, lift your chest, up dog. Exhale, lift the hips, downward facing dog. All right, stepping the feet back together to the midline. Inhale the left heel to the sky. Exhale, think about knee to forehead, knee to forehead, knee to forehead. Press into the hands. Create space to step the foot in between the hands. If it doesn't get there, do what you gotta do, right? Use your hand, get it up there. Spin the back heel down. And I don't care if you are crawling up this left leg to get to your warrior one, right? You just get there. I've had a lady, she was probably 70, between 70 and 75. And it comes to heated power classes. And she will literally like climb up her own body to get to where she needs to go. But she is moving, right? She is not going to allow like, oh, I don't know how to get there. Like she figures it out. Climb up the leg if you have to. Reach the arms up. Fullest expression. Take a full breath in. And then exhale, the hands come down. Step or slide the foot back into plank. Shift forward, bend the elbows, lower chaturanga. Lift your chest, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a full breath in. Side out.
Gaze in between your hands. Come to the top of your mat. Halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees. Reach your arms up. Utkatasana. So we're coming back into chair pose. And then we release to standing. So that's all one sun B. Okay, so we're just starting with chair and we're adding on warrior one, and we take a vinyasa, right? That chaturanga, up dog, down dog, in between each side. Okay, grab some water if you need to. Meet me back at the top of your mat because we're gonna do two more of those. You got your water? You done? Okay, awesome. Top of your mat. Bend your knees, reach your arms up, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step the feet together. Reach the right foot back behind you or up. Exhale, step the foot forward, warrior one. Spin the back heel down. Come on up, nice and strong. Sink deep into the front knee. Take a full breath in. Exhale, hands down. Step the right foot back, shift forward, bend the elbows, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Feet together, reach the left heel back and up. Exhale, step it forward. Warrior one. Get the feet set first and then bring the upper body up. Exhale, hands down, step it back, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Gaze in between your hands. Come to the top of your mat, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, arms reach up, Utkatasana. We're going right back down, guys. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Remember that intention that we have for practice. You are stronger than you think you are. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a full breath in. Exhale. Gaze forward, top of your mat, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, arms reach up, Utkatasana. And exhale, release to standing, hands to heart center. Take a few deep breaths. Go ahead, close the eyes. And release your hands, open your eyes. All right, so we're gonna add on from there. So bend your knees, reach your arms up, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Drop the knees if you need to. Lift your chest, up dog. Press the tops of your feet down. And then exhale, downward facing dog. So just a heads up, you don't have to inhale the right heel up. You could just step the foot forward, right? However you want to do that. I always cue, inhale the right heel to the sky or left heel, whatever side we're on. But, you know, it's kind of personal preference. If you're just practicing at home, you can always just step your right foot forward. All right, inhale your right heel to the sky. Exhale, step your foot forward. Come on up, warrior one. So we inhale the arms up. And then we add on from here. Exhale, open out, warrior two. All right, first warrior two of the day. Hold here, get settled in. Adductors are engaged, right? Hugging in and up. Pulling up through the pit of the belly. Knit your front two ribs together. Soften the gaze down your right arm. Flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. Exhale, hands down. Step the right foot back into plank, lower chaturanga. Lift your chest, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left side, inhale your heel to the sky. Step your foot forward. Think knee to forehead. And then come on up, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Right, check your feet out, make any adjustments that you need, right? You're never like glued to your mat, you're never stuck. So wherever you get, if you have to make adjustments, make those adjustments. Calm, steady breath. Feeling strong like a warrior, but finding that ease. Flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. Exhale, windmill the arms down. Step the left foot back, lower chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a full breath in. Side out. Reach your right heel to the sky. Step your foot forward. Come on up. Crescent lunge. So once you get the foot there, keep the back heel lifted and then come on up nice and strong. Remember, palms face in, pinkies towards the front of the room. Pressing through your back heel. And from here, we're going to come into warrior three. So you can take like one giant leap. You could take a few little hops, right? But reach the chest forward, left toes down towards the mat, hands at heart center or arms reaching towards the front of the room. Now we're gonna make our way back into that crescent lunge. So I want you to soften the right knee a little bit and then gently step back. Reach your arms up, open out, warrior two. If you're like flopping around on your mat like a fish out of water, so what, right? It's all good. As long as you're still moving, as long as you're still breathing, you're golden, right? Flip the front palm, reverse your warrior, and then moving into extended side angle, elbow to knee. Remember, if the elbow's on the knee, we're not dumping into the shoulder, okay? Core's nice and strong, keeping us lifted. Or hand down to a block or to the mat. Take a full breath in. Exhale, hands down. Step back into plank. Yes, chaturanga. Lift your chest, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, left side. Reach your heel to the sky. Step your foot forward. Come on up, crescent lunge. And then making your way into warrior three. You could slide the foot in. Remember, you only want to lower the upper body as much as that back leg lifts. And then soften the left knee. Gently step back, crescent lunge. Inhale the arms up. And then exhale, open out, warrior two. Flip the front palm, reverse. And then exhale into extended side angle. Working on getting your gaze up towards the ceiling if that's okay. Take a full breath in. Exhale, hands down. Step back into plank. Lower chaturanga. Lift your chest, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then go ahead and drop your knees. Press back into child's pose. Remember, this pose is available to you throughout your practice. You don't need my permission. You don't need anyone else's to take this pose, right? Maybe get back into your breath
get back into your body, and then whenever you're ready, picking back up to wherever we are, wherever the class is, right? So even when you're in a class full of people, if the teacher doesn't offer child's pose, if that's what your body needs in that moment, then that's what I want you to take. I always want you to, and I tell my students this all the time, like, I want you to listen to your body before you listen to me. I'm just a guide. Like, I'm not in your body. Your body is your greatest teacher. Your breath is. So I want you to tune into those things and honor that before you listen to me. Now take that with a grain of salt, because like we talked about at the beginning of our practice, your mind is the first thing to want to quit. Right? You're stronger than you think you are. So the second you want to give up, take 2 more breaths. Right? They say that your pose begins when you want to come out of it. So you take 2 more breaths wherever you are, and then you come out of the pose. All right? Take a few more deep breaths here. And then making your way back into downward facing dog. Remember to keep pulling up through the pit of the belly. Take your gaze in between your hands. Make your way to the top of your mat. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Come all the way up, extended mountain. Exhale, hands to heart center. All right, let's check out the time situation here. All right, cool. We're gonna let's take one more sun B, and then we're gonna move into some more standing postures. All right, so bend your knees, reach your arms up, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Lift your chest, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Reach your right heel to the sky. Step your foot forward. Come on up, warrior 1. Exhale, hands down, step it back, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left side, reach your heel to the sky. Step your foot forward. Come on up, warrior 1. And then exhale, hands down, step it back, chaturanga. Lift your chest, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a full breath in. Side out. Gaze in between your hands. Make your way to the top of your mat. Halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, arms reach up. Utkatasana. Standing, hands to heart center. Nice, guys. Awesome. Okay, we're going to move into triangle pose. Keep your left foot forward. Step your right foot back. So heel to arch alignment. I'm actually going to turn around so you guys can see the front. All right, engage the quads, right? Legs are really strong. Grounding down into the feet. Reach your arms out. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, kind of dipping into this left hip. Unless you've got some SI joint stuff going on, or if this is painful, then you don't have to necessarily dip so much. You can just hinge and lower. But typically, most of us will be able to dip into this left hip, reach with the left hand, and then lower down any amount, pressing off your shin, a block, or the floor. Traditionally, in Ashtanga yoga, you grab a hold of the big toe with your peace finger. So if you're open in the hips and in the side body, then you can grab a hold of your big toe, and you want to pull up on the toe as you ground down into the lower body, so you get that kind of balance of opposites going on. The grounding down in the lower body, the lifting in the upper body. Gaze up towards the thumb if you can. Working on reaching the left hip forward, taking the right hip back. Again, that may not be a huge visible movement,
I don't feel like it is in me, but just the thought of it will help me reach that left hip forward a little bit more. And then put a little bend in the left knee. Come all the way back up to standing. Turn your left foot parallel to your right foot. As we prepare for wide-legged forward fold, take your hands to your hips. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, wide-legged forward fold. Once you get to where you're going, you can release your hands, taking them anywhere that you'd like, to the floor, to your ankles, and release the fingers behind you. But where do we want the majority of the weight? Yes, good answer. In the balls of your feet. So we got to shift the hips forward, remember? Even if you have to maybe take the hands out in front a little bit so you don't feel like you're about to just topple over. Which, by the way, I've totally done that in a class. I was taking a class and I had been teaching too at that point and was trying to go so deep that I just did a little forward roll and almost took out a whole row of people. So happens to the best of us. It's all good. And then taking your hands back down to the floor, put a bend in your knees. Right, hands to hips, strong core, come all the way back up to standing. Turn your left foot towards the front of your mat, and we're gonna stomp the back foot in just enough so that you can square your hips forward, but also keep the back heel pressed down into the mat. So we're making our way into pyramid, and I honestly can't even remember if we've done this one or not. But your legs are in a kind of a shortened warrior one stance, right? With both legs nice and straight. So if you look down, you've got heel to heel alignment. This back foot is not turned all the way out to the side, and it's not turned all the way to the front of the room. It's almost maybe towards the top corner of your mat or a little past that. All right, so hips squared. Inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, hinge at the hips, reach forward, and then fold. If the hamstrings are pretty open, you can allow the upper body to be nice and heavy. Modify with keeping the hands down on the mat, the shin, or a block. I prefer you to keep this left leg straight. So it's not about getting your hands down to the mat, right? So don't do that if you have to bend the knee. Prefer you to bring the chest up some. Keep both legs nice and straight, right? You can always interlace the fingers behind your back, or the fullest expression in traditional version of the pose is reverse namaste. Bringing the hands to prayer at the back. And then take your gaze forward, put a little bend in your knee. We're gonna come all the way back up to standing. If you gotta climb up that left leg, do so. And then step the right foot up. Left foot steps back as we move into Trikonasana or triangle on the other side. Check the feet out, heel to arch alignment. Reach your arms out, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, reach, and then lower down any amount. A little bend in the knee, come all the way back up to standing. We're gonna skip the wide-legged forward fold and move right into pyramid. So step the back foot in, reach the left hip forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold over your right leg. And then putting a little bend in the right knee, coming all the way back up to standing, and then step your left foot up. All right, let's move into some standing balance. And last week we learned standing leg raise. So we're gonna start with that today, but we're gonna add on just a little bit. So grounding down into your left foot, left hand to your hip, and you're either gonna grab a hold of your knee, big toe. Remember, we used a strap if you wanted. So whichever variation you're in, get the gaze set, tune into your breath. And then from here, we're going to see if we can start to take the leg out to the side. Any amount. Keep reaching the tailbone down towards the mat. Right? So it's almost as if you're spinning your right thigh up towards the ceiling. And remember, we talked about fighting for it. If your body starts to fall, fight for it. See if you can hang in there. And then just as controlled as we got there, we're going to come back out and then gently release the right foot down. Awesome. All right, ground down into your right foot. Bring the left knee up. All right, I'll modify with a bent knee. Keep the left leg, the left foot flexed. Find that stability here, and then start to open the leg out to the side, tucking the tailbone, spinning your thigh up. And then maybe you start to reach the right arm out to the side. If you're feeling like frisky, you can take the gaze down your right arm. And gently come back to center. Left leg forward and release. Awesome. All right, let's move into tree pose. Ground down into your left foot. Bring the right foot up any amount. Fullest expression, whatever that looks like for you today. And then gently release, and we'll switch sides. Ground down into your right foot. Bring the left foot up. Right, and if you feel like super wobbly today, right, you're kind of wondering like, I wasn't like this yesterday. I know that I can balance. You know, some days are just different than others. We get out of balance in our life, right? So don't think that just because you can like hold a pose, you know, super solid one day, you know, you might not be able to the next day, and that's okay. That's why we practice that non-attachment, that letting go. You can't get too attached. Eventually, all of these things will fade. And then gently release. Coming back to standing. All right, we are going to bring it down, I promise you. We're going to move into pigeon, but we're going to flow there. All right, so back to the top of your mat. Bend your knees. Reach your arms up, Utkatasana, and exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, Chaturanga. Lift your chest, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So from downward facing dog, you're going to bring the knee towards the right wrist. Depending on how open or tight the hips are, you can go ahead and bring the back knee down to the mat. The knee may come in between your hands, and that's okay. But we want to keep the hips squared, right? Not rolling off onto the right hip like this. Keep the hips squared. Inch the left leg back behind you. Flex to the right foot, and then inhale, lengthen through the spine, and as you exhale, start to fold over your right leg. So finding some ease here. Notice where you can soften and allow the weight of your body to deepen the stretch for you. Again, if it's not accessible this way, you can always do it on your back by taking your right ankle to your left knee. When your thoughts take you off of your mat, recognize that and come back to where you are. Come back to your body. And breathing into that stretch, breathing into the discomfort. I used to just come out of a pose whenever it got a little uncomfortable or whenever I started to really feel the stretch, right? I was like, okay, well, that's enough. But if you're always coming out of a pose when it gets uncomfortable or, when you start to feel the stretch, how do you know how long you can stay? If you're always coming out of it, you never progress, right? We progress by staying a little longer. And slowly start to walk your hands in, lift your chest. You're going to tuck the back toes and then slowly make your way back into downward facing dog, even if you have to come back through hands and knees, right? Taking your time. All right, moving into pigeon on the other side. Bring your left knee forward. And taking your time to get set up. And then whenever you're ready, folding over your left leg. Maybe keeping the palms open up towards the ceiling, softening the hands and clenching the jaw. I remember that little tip at the beginning of the series about counting the seconds of your inhales and counting the seconds of your exhales. And seeing if you can get that number the same, or maybe the exhale's a little longer, but just counting the seconds will allow you to stay a little bit more present. And slowly start to walk your hands in, lift your chest. We're going to roll off onto the left hip, swinging the right leg around, and make your way to a seated position on your mat. So we're going to move into my favorite pose, which is supported fish. You will need maybe a block for this. So I'm going to do a quick tutorial with the block, and then I will show you how to do it without one. It's not as good without, I'll just tell you. So with the block, we're going to take the skinny side of the block in between the shoulder blades. So you can kind of set it up where you think it'll go, and then start to roll back onto the block, and you can make any adjustments that you feel you need. And then you're just going to allow the upper body to collapse onto the block. You could take your head back if it rests on your bun, then you can hang out there. If you've got an extra block, maybe you put it underneath your head, but allowing the head to fall back also feels kind of nice. So if you can do that and it's okay, then you can hang out here. If getting the block in between the shoulder blades is not comfortable for you, another option is to take it completely flat, right? So on level 1, and it's going to go right below your shoulder blades. Right, so you can just kind of come back onto it, taking your head back. So it's opening up the chest, right? So if you do not have a block, I hate it for you. I'm just kidding. All right. If you don't have a block, if you do, hang out there, man, like as long as you want to. If you do not have a block, I want you to come into like what they call like beach pose, like we're hanging out at the beach. If you take your fingertips underneath your bottom, just slightly, nothing too crazy, and you're going to start to lift the chest up as you drop your head back. Eventually, like the head starts to touch the mat. But this also gives you that big heart opener. You're just having to work for it a little bit more. All right, so reaching the chest up, dropping the head back, hanging out here. If that's too much on the neck, you can always keep the gaze up. And in most of the classes that I teach, we have blocks, and so we literally just hang out there for a little while. So if you do not have a block, hang out in the traditional version for as long as you can, and then always feel free to just come onto your mat. But we're going to let's take 5 more full breaths. Whenever you're ready, gently release, and there's really no graceful way to come off of it. You just slide off, set the block to the side, come onto your backs. Put a bend in your knees, stack your knees over your ankles. We're going to move into bridge pose. So on an inhale, as you ground down into your feet, start to lift your hips, walk the shoulders underneath you if you can, interlace the fingers. And really grounding down into your feet, engage the quads, press into the feet as if you're lifting the hips up even higher. I'm thinking about lengthening your tailbone towards your knees. All right, so taking any added compression out of the low back. And then gently release, untuck your shoulders, come down 1 vertebrae at a time. Bring the bottoms of your feet together, knees out to the sides. Take a few deep breaths here. You can always take your arms above your head. I like to bend my elbows and allow my hands to just kind of Kind of reach in. And bringing your knees back up to center. Hug them in towards your chest. And then coming into happy baby, grab a hold of your big toes with your peace fingers. Pull the knees down towards the floor. Working on getting that 90-degree angle. And then you can rock from side to side. Maybe straighten out one leg, keeping the other knee bent. And then vice versa. Maybe take both legs out. And then hug the knees back in towards your chest. We'll take a quick supine twist. Take the arms out to a T. Lower your knees to the right as you take your gaze down your left arm. And then bringing the knees back up to center. And then lower to the left, taking your gaze down your right arm. Allowing your knees and your shoulders to be heavy. And then coming back to center, straightening your legs out along your mat for Shavasana. Go ahead and close your eyes, allowing your eyes to be still, your eyelids to be heavy. Letting go of your breathing practice and allow your natural rhythm to take back over.
Begin to deepen your breath. And bringing some movement back into your body. And then keeping your eyes closed and making as few adjustments as possible. Slowly make your way to a seated position on your mat. And then sitting nice and tall on the spine, just taking a few deep breaths. Bringing back that intention to the forefront of your mind. You are stronger. You are braver. You are more determined than you think you are. You are kinder, more compassionate. And bringing your hands to your heart center. It has been my honor and pleasure to lead you through this series. Take your thumbs to your forehead center for Namaste. Thank you guys so much. Give yourselves a hand. Wow. We rocked it out today. So that's an awesome job. Good job. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to shoot me an email or a message. And I'll see you the next series. Level up. All right. Bye, guys.